April 12th. Something has already shifted inside you, and you felt it before you could name it. That quiet weight in your chest, that sense of standing at the edge of something enormous, that feeling that the life you have been praying for is closer than it has ever been before. This is not your imagination. This is not anxiety. This is not coincidence. Tonight, two of the most powerful cosmic forces in the universe are aligning in a way that has not happened in over 160 years. And your soul, your ancient, knowing, deeply aware soul, has been feeling it coming for days. You are drawn here for a reason. Keep watching. There is a feeling that has been living inside you lately that you have not been able to fully explain to anyone around you. It is not quite excitement, it is not quite fear. It sits somewhere between the two, a low electric hum beneath your daily life. A sense that something is approaching, something vast and quiet and inevitable, like the moment just before a storm breaks open and the air goes completely still. You have been going through your days, making your coffee, answering your messages, doing the things you are supposed to do, and yet beneath all of it, something in you has been leaning forward, waiting, listening, as though some part of you already knows that the ordinary version of your life is about to give way to something far more aligned with who you truly are. You may have tried to dismiss it. You may have told yourself it was nothing. You may have even felt a little embarrassed by the intensity of it, this nameless anticipation that you could not trace back to any single event or conversation or decision in your outer world. But here's what you need to understand. That feeling is not coming from you. Or rather, it is not coming only from you. It is a signal. It is your energy field, your spiritual nervous system, your deepest layer of awareness doing exactly what it was designed to do, tracking something moving towards you through the cosmos long before your conscious mind had any language to describe it. What you have been sensing in that quiet and persistent way is the approach of one of the most abundantly blessed astrological alignments of the entire year. On April 12th, Venus, the planet of love, of beauty, and of everything the heart desires and deserves, forms a perfect sextile with Jupiter, the great benefic, the planet of expansion, of grace, of divine reward. Venus is moving through Taurus, the sign of deep earthly abundance, of sacred stillness, of what is real and lasting and truly yours. Jupiter is holding court in Cancer, the sign of nourishment, of home, of the emotional foundations upon which a meaningful life is built. When these two planets speak to each other in a sextile, the universe is not whispering, it is answering. And a sextile is not a passive aspect, it is an open door. It is opportunity made manifest. It is the cosmos arranging itself into the precise configuration required to allow what has been blocked, delayed, or held in the invisible to finally move into the visible. But here's the part that most people miss. The blessings of Venus sextile Jupiter do not arrive for everyone equally. They arrive most powerfully for those who have been in alignment, for those who have been doing the work, the inner work, the quiet and unglamorous and deeply personal work of releasing fear, of choosing faith, of holding on to hope, even when the evidence of the outer world gave them very little reason to. For those who have been praying into the silence and trusting that the silence was not emptiness. That anticipation you have been carrying, it is not anxiety about what might go wrong. It is your soul recognizing the frequency of what is about to go profoundly, beautifully, irreversibly right. The feeling that something is coming has been accurate from the very beginning. You are not imagining it. You are not being foolish or naive or overly hopeful. You were receiving. And what is coming toward you on April 12th is not just a good day. It is the universe closing a chapter of waiting and opening something that your heart has quietly known was always meant for you. The anticipation you feel is not restlessness, it is readiness. Something has been happening while you sleep. You may have noticed it over the past several nights, a shift in the quality of your dreams that is difficult to put into words but impossible to ignore. They have become more vivid, more layered, more saturated with emotion and symbolism, and a strange, lingering sense of meaning that follows you into the morning long after the images themselves have faded. You wake up and the dream is already dissolving at the edges, slipping back into that place where dreams live, and yet something remains. A feeling, a texture, an emotional residue that colors the first hours of your day in ways you cannot quite explain to anyone who is not inside the experience with you. Perhaps you have been dreaming of people you have not thought about in years, faces surfacing from the deep water of your past as though they were sent to deliver something unfinished. Perhaps you have been dreaming of places that do not exist in any map you have ever seen, and yet inside the dream, they felt more real, more solid, more true than anything in your waking life. Perhaps the dreams have simply been emotional, overwhelmingly, inexplicably emotional, and you have woken with wet eyes and a chest full of something you do not have a name for. You are not sleeping poorly. You are not stressed in any way that explains this. You are not unwell. You are receiving transmissions. Because right now, as Venus and Jupiter prepare their magnificent alignment on April 12th, another cosmic event is running alongside it. Deeper, yet stranger, and more mystical in its nature. Mars, the planet of drive and sacred action, is forming an exact conjunction with Neptune, the planet of dreams, of the invisible, of everything that exists beyond the reach of ordinary perception. And Neptune's domain is not only the ocean, it is the dream world. It is the space your consciousness enters every night when the rational mind finally releases its grip and something older, something wiser, something connected to a far vaster intelligence is allowed to speak. When Neptune is activated, and right now it is being activated at a degree of intensity not seen in over 160 years, the membrane between your waking self and your deeper self becomes extraordinarily thin. The dreams that visit you in this window are not random. They are not the meaningless static of an overworked mind processing the events of the day. They are the language of your soul speaking at full volume because the cosmic conditions have finally made it possible to be heard. The symbols matter, the emotions matter. The people and places and impossible landscapes that appeared to you in the night, they are carrying information that your conscious mind is not yet equipped to translate, but that your body already understands. You felt it when you woke. That weight, that wonder, that sense of having been somewhere ancient and important and deeply, personally relevant to the life you are living right now. And here is the connection that changes everything. Venus and Jupiter do not only govern what arrives in the outer world, they govern the inner world of what you are finally ready to receive. Jupiter expands whatever it touches, and right now, through the softened and luminous field that Neptune is creating, it is expanding your capacity to perceive, to feel, and to trust the intelligence that lives beneath your conscious awareness. Venus in Taurus is grounding that expanded perception into something real, something embodied, something you can carry back with you from the dream into the day. Your dreams have been more vivid because you have been more open. And you have been more open because something in you already knew that April 12th was coming, and that this time, what arrives is not another lesson. It is not another test. It is not another invitation to be patient. This time, what arrives is the answer. Pay attention to what visits you tonight. Write it down when you wake. The dream you have in the hours surrounding April 12th may carry the seed of everything that is about to bloom in your waking life. Your sleeping mind has already seen what your waking eyes are about to witness. You have been letting things go lately, not dramatically, not with grand gestures or declarations, or the kind of endings that other people notice and comment on, quietly, privately, in the small and tender hours when it is just you and the truth of what you have been carrying, you have been setting things down. Maybe it has been a version of yourself that you held on to long past the moment it stopped fitting. A story you kept telling about why certain things were not possible for you, why certain doors were not meant to open for you, why the life you longed for in your quietest moments was perhaps too much to ask for. Maybe it has been a relationship, not necessarily a person, but a dynamic, a pattern, a way of giving yourself away in exchange for a sense of belonging that never quite arrived. Maybe it has been an old grief that you thought you had already processed, returning one more time not to wound you, but to be finally, fully released. Whatever form it has taken, there has been a recurring impulse in you recently, a pull toward simplicity, toward clearing, toward making space. You have looked at certain parts of your life and felt, without knowing exactly why, that they no longer belong in the version of yourself you are becoming. And so, quietly, you have been loosening your grip. You have been exhaling things you held for a very long time. This is not loss, this is preparation. Right now, the moon is moving through its disseminating phase in Capricorn, a lunar cycle that carries one of the most spiritually significant energies in all of the monthly rhythm. The disseminating moon is the phase of the great release. It is the moment in the lunar cycle when the fullness of what was illuminated begins to be offered back, when wisdom is shared, when burdens are surrendered, when the soul instinctively begins to clear the ground for what is coming next. And in Capricorn, that release is not emotional and chaotic. It is deliberate. It is structural. It goes to the foundations. Capricorn asks what is real. It asks what is lasting. It asks what you have been building your sense of self upon, and whether those foundations are truly yours, or whether they were handed to you by a world that did not fully understand who you were always meant to become. And so the urge you have been feeling to let go, to simplify, to clear, to release the outdated architecture of an older self is not a sign that something is wrong. It is not a sign that you are falling apart or losing your way or grieving something that should have been saved. It is your soul, guided by the quiet intelligence of this lunar phase, doing something extraordinarily wise. It is making room, because you cannot receive what Venus and Jupiter are preparing to deliver on April 12th, with hands that are still full of what no longer belongs to you. You cannot step into the expanded, abundant, deeply blessed reality that this alignment is opening without first releasing the version of yourself that believed you were not worthy of it. The universe does not withhold blessings out of cruelty. It waits. It waits until the vessel is ready. It waits until the space has been made. It waits until the one who has been praying finally believes, at the level of the body and the bones and the breath, and that what they are asking for is truly allowed to be theirs. Every time you let something go recently, you are not losing. You were creating the precise interior space that a blessing of this magnitude requires to land. Think about what you have released in the past several weeks. The conversations you chose not to have, the resentments you quietly laid down, the old dreams you finally gave proper burial to so that new ones could be born in their place, the identity you wore for so long that you forgot it was never truly you. Each of those releases was an act of spiritual courage. Each one was a quiet yes to what is coming. The disseminating moon in Capricorn is not asking you to lose anything that was ever truly yours. It is asking you to trust that what belongs to you cannot be cleared away, and that everything else was only ever taking up the space where your real life was waiting to begin. You have been letting go because you are almost ready to receive. And on April 12th, the universe will show you exactly what you made room for. There is something you stopped saying out loud, a hope, a prayer, a wish so tender and so deeply personal that at some point, after carrying it for what felt like too long, after holding it up to the light too many times and finding no visible sign of its arrival, you made a quiet decision, not to abandon it entirely. You could not do that. It was too much a part of you, woven too deeply into the fabric of who you are and what you came here to experience. But you stopped voicing it. You stopped sending it out into the world with the full force of your belief behind it. You tucked it somewhere private and sacred inside yourself, and you kept moving. Because moving was the only thing left to do. Perhaps it was a prayer about love, about finding the kind of connection that does not ask you to be smaller, that does not require you to perform or pretend or shrink the fullness of who you are into something more manageable for someone else. Perhaps it was a prayer about abundance, not greed, never greed, but the simple and legitimate and deeply human longing to feel safe, to feel provided for, to move through life without the constant low hum of financial fear pressing against your chest. Perhaps it was a prayer about purpose, about finally understanding why you are here, what you are built to offer, what the particular shape of your gifts looks like when it is finally allowed to move freely in the world. Whatever it was, you know the one. You have always known the one, and you stopped saying it out loud because silence felt safer than hope followed by disappointment one more time. But here is what the universe needs you to understand on April 12th. Your prayer was never lost. It was never ignored. It was never filed away in some cosmic drawer marked insufficient or undeserving or too much to ask for. Every word you ever sent into the silence was received. Every tear that accompanied it was counted. Every moment of faith you maintained when the evidence of the outer world gave you nothing to stand on, every single one of those moments was recorded in the intelligence of a universe that does not forget, that does not abandon, and that does not operate on the same timeline your fear would have you believe it does. The silence was not absence. The silence was accumulation. Because Venus, the great planet of love and of all that the heart most truly desires, is now moving through Taurus, the most patient, the most grounded, the most enduring of all the signs. And Taurus does not rush, it does not perform, it does not arrive in a burst of noise and spectacle. It arrives the way spring arrives, slowly, inevitably, undeniably, with a fullness that makes the long winter feel like it was always leading somewhere worth going. And Jupiter, vast, generous, overflowing Jupiter, is holding the frequency of Cancer, the sign of home and nourishment, and the deep emotional safety that every soul on this earth is ultimately searching for. Jupiter in Cancer does not give small gifts. It gives the kind of abundance that fills not just the hands, but the heart. The kind that makes you sit down and press your palm to your chest because you cannot quite believe that something this good is actually, finally, unquestionably yours. When these two planets align in their perfect sextile on April 12th, they are not creating something new out of nothing. They are delivering something that was already yours. Something that was set in motion the very first time you were brave enough to ask for it, and kept in motion by every act of faith you performed in the long and often silent time that followed. The universe has been working on your behalf in the invisible for longer than you know. Every door that closed redirected you, every delay reprotected you. Every moment of waiting was the cosmos doing the precise behind-the-scenes arrangement required to bring what you asked for into perfect alignment with who you have now become. Because the version of you that exists today is far more ready to receive it than the version of you who first asked. You did not pray in vain. You prayed into a universe that listens with perfect attention and acts with perfect timing. And its timing is April 12th. The prayer you stop saying out loud is the one that is about to be answered. Not as a consolation, not as a partial fulfillment, but in the full, generous, Jupiter-blessed, Venus-graced, soul-deep way that you always knew in your most honest and unguarded moments that you deserved. You did not wait too long. You waited exactly long enough. You have been crying without knowing why. Not the kind of crying that comes with a clear cause, not grief with a name, not pain with a source, not frustration with a face attached to it. This has been something different, something quieter and stranger and far more difficult to explain to anyone who has not felt it themselves. A fullness rising in your chest without warning, a sudden welling behind the eyes in the middle of an ordinary moment, while you're driving, while you're standing in the kitchen, while you're watching the light move across a wall in the late afternoon, and something inside you simply opens and overflows without asking your permission first. You may have felt embarrassed by it. You may have pushed it down, blinked it away, told yourself there was no reason for it, and therefore it did not deserve to be felt. You may have wondered quietly in that private space where your most vulnerable thoughts live, whether something was wrong with you, whether this unnamed emotion was a sign of something breaking rather than something arriving. It is not something breaking. What you are feeling move through your body in these unexpected waves of emotion is not sadness. It is not anxiety wearing a softer mask. It is not your nervous system misfiring or your mind manufacturing feeling where there is none. What you are feeling is the physical, embodied, deeply human experience of a frequency shift, a recalibration happening at the cellular level as your entire being begins to attune itself to the energy of what is approaching. Your body always knows before your mind does, and right now, your body is processing something immense. The Mars and Neptune conjunction that is reaching its exact peak on April 12th is operating at a vibrational frequency that sensitive souls, empaths, intuitives, those who have always felt more than the world told them they were supposed to feel, absorb not just emotionally, but physically. Neptune dissolves boundaries. It softens the walls between what is felt and what is known, between what is personal and what is universal, between your individual experience and the vast, breathing, luminous intelligence of everything that exists beyond the reach of ordinary human perception. And when Neptune is activated at this level of intensity, the body does not process it quietly. It processes it through sensation, through pressure in the chest, through tears that arrive before the thought that might have caused them. This is not weakness. This is sensitivity operating at its highest and most sacred function. You are built to feel at this depth because you are built to perceive at this depth. The tears that come without explanation are not evidence of something wrong inside you. They are evidence of how wide open you are, how available, how receptive, how genuinely and completely present you are to the movement of something enormous passing through the field of your life. And what is passing through is not ordinary. Venus in Taurus, in her most grounded and embodied expression, governs not just what we love, but how love feels in the body. The warmth of it, the weight of it, the way genuine beauty and genuine connection register not in the mind, but in the physical heart. When Venus aligns with Jupiter in Cancer on April 12th, that bodily experience of love and grace and abundance is amplified to a degree that the nervous system of a truly sensitive person cannot contain without some form of physical release. The tears are the release. They are your body making room. They are your cells letting go of the frequency of lack, of longing, of the quiet and persistent belief that what you most deeply needed was somehow not available to you. They are your physical self catching up to what your soul has already accepted, that something is shifting, that something is arriving, that the long and sacred season of asking is giving way to the long and sacred season of receiving. Do not apologize for the emotion. Do not minimize it or rationalize it away, or perform composure in the face of something this profound. Let it move through you. Let it complete itself. Because on the other side of that release, in the open, cleared, tender space that genuine emotion always leaves behind, there is room for something you have never been able to fully hold before. There is room for the life you actually prayed for. April 12th is not asking you to be stronger than you feel right now. It is not asking you to arrive at this moment polished and composed and certain. It is asking you to arrive exactly as you are, open, feeling, perhaps a little undone by the sheer weight of how much you have hoped and how long you have waited and how real this moment finally, undeniably feels. The tears without explanation are not a mystery. They are a message. They are your body saying, in the only language the body knows, something true is here, something real is arriving. Something I have been waiting for longer than I have words to express is finally, mercifully, beautifully close. You have felt everything that was required to feel to arrive at this moment. You have released what needed to be released. You have held what needed to be held. You have prayed in the silence and trusted in the dark and kept your heart open through seasons that gave you very little reason to. And now April 12th stands before you, not as another day to endure, but as the day the universe exhales everything it has been holding on your behalf. You did not come this far to be forgotten. You came this far to be answered. And the answer, at long last, in the full and generous and soul-level way you always deserved, is yes.